If you don't manage your country, foreigners will take over your country. You're going into the land, but don't forget me. Now watch what God said. When you begin to prosper, don't forget me. He said, if you forget me, I will bring in foreigners, and they shall drive you from our land. Every time they worship idols, they lost the land.
Yes, it is quite a
Hot topic.
and I believe that we're going to have some really good insight. And more than anything, I believe the Lord is going to reveal we're going to break up some strongholds and religious thinking and bring about some truth. And it's like, okay, God, I've given you my quota, my quota of time for the week. I am about my own business. See you later. See you next week.
Is Christianity a mere set of religious rituals and doctrines, or does it encompass something deeper? A kingdom with its own laws, principles, values, culture, and dynamic. I'm thrilled to have you join us today as we dive into a topic that sparks curiosity and contemplation. Christianity, a religion or a kingdom? Hey everyone, welcome back to Ask Wifey, where we bring you kingdom principles to empower you as a kingdom citizen. I'm Jamin, and this is my wife, better known as Wifey. Say hi, Wifey.
Hi, I'm Nicole. Hi, Wifey. How's everyone today? Welcome again. It's great to have you back with us. I am so excited. We are here again, and we're excited about today's topic. It's one that will really hit home.
And like you can see the title, your country's godly leadership starts with you. The principles assignment of man from God is to have dominion, and that dominion comes through management. And management is the extension of God's culture on earth. God manages heaven. The strategy of God is to dominate earth through management. God wants to dominate earth through what? Management. He's called it work. As a matter of fact, the first thing God gives Adam was work. So the principal reason for the creation is management. And management is the measure of your success on earth. What you don't manage, God takes from you. I'm going to give you all one of the deepest revelations you are going to hear in your life today. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here's it. If you don't manage your country, foreigners will take over your country.
What?
That's right. There's a divine strategy. God told Israel, you're going into the land, but don't forget me when you go into the land. Now watch what God said. He said, when you begin to prosper, don't forget me. This was one of the last things Moses and Joshua was talking about.
Yeah, I
remember. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
He said, if you forget me, I will bring in foreigners, and they shall drive you from our land. And if you study the Bible, every time they worship idols, they lost the land.
Wow.
Whenever you mismanage, you lose. When your country laws begin to take God out of schools and businesses and the government, all of their affairs, you are mismanaging the country. And you are going to also put yourself out of the land.
Wow.
If you don't manage your house, you'll lose it. You ever wonder why God gives wealthy people more wealth?
Yeah. Why? Why? A lot of people get upset about that, but
Let me explain what I mean by that. Do you remember the three men who got the talents?
Yeah.
The one who mismanaged his own? What did God do?
He gave it.
Yes, he gave one. That same one he gave it to the other one.
He took from the one who mismanaged, and he gave it to the one who managed everything and multiplied.
Now that doesn't make sense, right? You're thinking it would go to a second person. You would assume it would go to a second person, but no, God gave it to the guy who managed it.
But no, what we normally think is, well, he lost what he had. We should give him more.
Because
poor.
Why? Because the one who managed the best gets more. That's a principle.
Okay.
I want you to think about this broadcast today. Go back and check your life. The wealth hasn't left the planet.
It hasn't left the planet.
No, it ain't left the planet. So when things are out of order, it takes good managers to get it fixed. Let me say that again. When things are out of order, it takes good managers to get it fixed. And they should be kingdom people. Stop walking around claiming wealth of the wicked. We say wealth of the wicked is later for the just.
Yeah.
You don't get it by claiming it. There's a funny philosophy we have, money cometh. Everybody, money cometh to me. I didn't know where to get that from. And calling it in. What do you mean call it in? You better go work for that. God never gives money to anyone who calls it in. He gives it to those who were managers, hard workers, people who preserve his resources. God gives them more. You don't pray wealth into your hands. You manage it into your hands. Whenever you lose your check, whenever you lose something, you check it. You mismanaged it. That's all. God took it whenever you lost it, because why? You just didn't manage it.
Yeah. And it even isn't exactly God taking it.
Mm-hmm.
It is just it's just the laws and principles of management.
It's the principle. It's the principles that God put in place. This is why we give the onus to Him, because why? We mismanaged it. And one of the things when it comes down to governments, one of the things we have to hold us, the people that vote, the individuals that cast that vote. You can't cry because the government taxing you. You can't cry because you ain't making enough. You can't cry because they mismanaging the money. Because why? You select them, and we take it in our vernacular. We take it for light. You know what I'm saying? We take it for light. We for some strange reason we sit back and that government. We have to get involved as kingdom people. We have to get involved. We cannot expect for unrighteous men to make righteous decisions.
Okay, that's such a powerful position and truth, hon. And it really sets the stage for what we are going to discuss today. My husband he's fired up.
Oh yeah,
he's fired up on this. Your country's godly leadership starts with you.
Mm-hmm.
In a world where leadership is often discussed and debated, we want to focus on the biblical principles that remind us that true godly leadership begins with each of us right where we are.
Let's talk about what godly leadership looks like in practice. And let me before we go there, I want to say something here. One of the reasons I realize that we've elected the type of people we've elected because we don't know what leadership looks like.
And I think too, you're right. And we don't understand what's going on and why leadership is in place, why government systems are set up, and what we're supposed to be doing.
Godly leadership is not about what happens in political spheres or in government offices. It's about how we live our lives daily. how we conduct ourselves in our homes, in our workplace, in our communities. Leadership is influence. And as believers, we have the responsibility to influence those around us towards godliness.
You're right. So let's talk about what godly leadership looks like. Like you said, in practice. You know, we throw these words around, but we want to first give you a visual of what it is rolled out. First, it starts with integrity. Leadership is about integrity.
Yes.
It's about wholeness, being sound. And integrity means there's a soundness, there's wholeness, there's no brokenness in your character. In Psalms chapter 78, verse 72, it says of David, and David shepherded them with integrity of heart, with skillful hands he led them. Integrity is the foundation of godly leadership. It means doing what's right even when no one is watching.
Wifey, another key aspect of godly leadership is humility. Jesus, the ultimate leader, modeled perfectly in Philippians 2, 3, and 4, where it says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. We have to be our brother's keeper. We're so busy trying to get ours.
Yeah.
We're so busy trying to take over somebody else's things.
And you know, if we really role play that looking out for each other, it's a circle. Because if you looking out for me, if you making sure that we at a buffet and you go to the buffet and you see something, you say, oh man, Nicole can like that. I can get some of that from Nicole. And I at the buffet and I on the other side and I see something that you like. And I said, man, I can get that for Jamin. I can make sure he can like that. I know he like that. I can get that for him. When me and you sit down to our table after we've come from the buffet line, both of us have on our plates that which each other needs. And we can enjoy the buffet. But if I go to the line and, man, I bought me, and Jamin better come up and get his own thing, and I grab everything that I like, and other people are doing the same thing, and we do that. We take in all, and we're not even considering, well, how much of these I really need?
Right.
How many pieces of shrimp do I really need on my plate? And if I take 10, nobody else could get.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, you got 10 pieces of shrimp on your plate plus everything else, and you can't even eat it. And it's sitting there.
And you wasn't even thinking about other people. You wasn't even thinking about who you were with.
And it goes to waste. And I see that happen so much times. We are not in the kingdom. That is not our culture. That is not our culture. So humility in leadership means putting others before yourself, serving rather than being served. It's recognized that leadership is not about power and control, but about guiding and nurturing those around you in love.
That brings us to the heart of godly leadership, servanthood. Jesus said to Mark, or I should say he said in Mark, that's Mark 10, I think it's 45, for even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. True leadership is God's kingdom in about serving. That's what it's all about. It's all about serving others. sacrificing for the greatest good, and reflecting Christ in all that we do. It's all about servanthood.
Yes.
So when we think about the people that we elect, you can't go selecting nobody who all about them. You can't go selecting nobody who, because he represent or she represent a party. You need to look at their background, look at what they've done, investigate who they are.
Look at their character.
Their character, who they are.
Yeah. And that's where many of us can start right now. You don't have to be a politician or a CEO to be a godly leader. You can lead by serving your family, your neighbors, and your colleagues. It's in those small everyday actions that we begin to influence and shape the culture around us. When we start caring, you know, and you see it in sometimes you look at some of the videos, you see someone they pay for the next person's coffee or something. You create a pay it forward or a kindness culture.
Yeah.
You care for the neighbor's kids. You look after them. You make sure that if you see something doesn't look right, you step in and find out what's going on and you bring assistance. And that's the kind of culture we want to grow up in.
Wifey, and I think one of the things we must remember that we should not forget, it's very important for us to pray for our leaders.
Yes, definitely.
In 1 Timothy 2:1-2 urges us to pray for all people, especially those in authority, so that we may live peaceful and with a quality of life in all godliness and holiness. Prayer is powerful and it's a critical part of godly leadership. Our leaders cannot survive without prayer.
Absolutely. Prayer not only changes things around us, but it changes things within us. And it changes us. And one of the most important things, it aligns our heart with God's will and prepares us to lead with his wisdom and guidance. Prayer is the inside scoop to what's going on. We need to be praying for our leaders, but we also need to pray for ourselves. We need to be praying for our families, that we would lead well in wherever we are in our community and in our life, wherever God places us, that we would step up and lead.
As we wrap up, remember, your country's godly leadership really does start with you. It starts with how you live, how you treat others, and how you reflect Christ in your daily life. Don't underestimate the power of your influence, especially as a kingdom citizen.
Oh, yes. Leadership isn't about a title. It's about responsibility. We are all leaders in some capacity, and we have the opportunity to shape the future by living out godly principles today.
We hope this episode has inspired you to take up the mantle of godly leadership in your own life. Lead with integrity, humility, and a heart of service, and watch our God use you to bring about his purpose in the community and beyond. Until next time, remember, the kingdom of God is here.